So usually, as we start this class just by grounding, and this is just a great time too, like if you're kind of wondering, like, gosh, how am I doing today? That we spend time in the beginning just to just kind of listen. We could say that we're just kind of listening. So let's just settle in. You want to find somewhere that's comfortable. Comfortable, and yet, like we still have a body, right? So, like, what would be a position where you can sense that you're grounded, comfortable, and just coming to stillness, able to stop. And you might just start by listening, taking in the sound of the bell. Deep breath. Just kind of noticing this, like, what does this stopping feel like? What does it feel like today? So if we are practicing like putting things down, you might even notice like, oh, what would that involve? What am I caught up in? What would I be putting down right now? So if we're coming to stillness, we just want to be really clear of what is happening in your own world. How does your body feel? Are you in a position where the body can relax? So there's an initial kind of softening your skin. If it makes sense, you could take some deeper breaths. We just do this because as we breathe deeper, we just feel a little bit deeper into what you're sensing and what you're feeling. Maybe being clear, like I'm not here to figure anything out. In fact, sometimes that can just create more tension. So how could you create some space, like this feel in your body, maybe in your mouth? Like you can just notice there's space in the mouth. Or even around the space of your chest. Even around your brain, like inside of your head. Just imagine, sometimes this can be felt, like there's some space rather than completely full and cluttered. And as you're breathing, you're aware that you're breathing. Yeah, sometimes it helps to bring in an image. Like if you bring in the image of a blue sky, maybe a couple clouds floating by. So we have this image of space. And even how, just like the sky, that it's actually quite natural for the mind to be still or calm when it's here. We're just landing here. You're not really moving. Some people like to do a little rocking movement. That's fine. But you're physically not going anywhere. It's really a beautiful time out. Don't have to figure out anything. Just be with your body, be with everything that's happening right now, creating some space. Almost like we're gaining perspective by kind of backing up. Feeling the earth. You might use the word here. There's kind of an experience of seclusion, like if you're really just here. What sounds do you hear? hearing sounds. Are there sounds that are far away? Sounds really close? You might notice the temperature. In a way, there's the temperature around you, like in the room you're in. And there actually is a temperature inside of your body. Can you feel that your body is like 98 degrees? You feel that warmth. If there's a sensation in the body, any, feelings of like pain or pressure, you might explore kind of being with it. Allowing. So in this practice of relaxing, we see, first we have to notice that this is possible, just to relax here. Maybe the physical body, like your face, your lips relax. And aware of your belly. You soften your belly. I'm aware of my belly. bless me. um, so just to share a little bit more of the teaching around what we were just practicing and how, well, first of all, there's almost a sense of, we know this word, we've heard this word like enlightenment. Well, we could think of it of what we're doing is we're kind of shining a light like inside into our own experience. And as practitioners, like I'm really interested to know what is happening right now. What, like in a way, like what seeds am I planting? Because this is like the law of karma, we're always putting something into motion through our thoughts, what you're thinking about, how you're relating to something. You're planting seeds, we could say. So we're interested as we enlighten, as we see, as we shine this light, like what am I doing? And I'm interested because it matters. I feel like I'm interested, it matters to me. I want to notice like what it is, am I doing things, am I saying things, am I thinking things that lead to tension and stress? And so that's kind of our work, and it's never ending. So even this idea of enlightenment, it's not like something we attain and then like check. It's ongoing work. We can have moments of enlightenment that kind of come out of nowhere. We might just have a moment of just a deep feeling of peace or connection. So here we kind of, we see like, oh, this can also be practiced. So I love this phrase that it's, it's definitely one of those, like it's said, like there was this observation about kind of the nature of the mind, like, that the mind itself is radiant and pure, but it gets obstructed by what are called momentary defilements. And it's a really wonderful description, because no matter what comes in as this defilement, that it is momentary. I mean, sometimes it feels like, no, it's there all the time. And so, yeah, it can be, but it's saying it's temporary in that we can choose. So these defilements, usually they're described as these three roots of greed, hatred or anger, and delusion, that they can come in almost like a cloud can come in and obscure, but they also pass. So something like anger, I mean, if you ever think of a time when you were really angry, you'll probably notice like it is gone, like something you were really angry about. It just naturally, it's going to pass or change, and in which case we can really observe this, like, well, maybe then I can feel anger, I can feel like an urge to get angry, but I don't have to feed it. So when I talk about like planting seeds, it is like being very aware of what we're kind of growing and nurturing. I've noticed that over time, when I practice, like, it just gets harder to really get angry. You know, I can feel like, wow, I could really get angry about that. But it's like, oh, it would take work. I can almost feel the work it would take to really stir things up and get really hardened and angry. I'm like, you know, I can see more clearly. So because the light, this kind of enlightenment, I can see clearly like what is going on here. Gone through this lately a few times with my daughter who's 14, and I can just see so clearly, like a couple nights ago, oh my word, she could, you know, what she was saying to me could have gotten me really angry. But I could tell that she was actually just had kind of a long day and she was hungry. And I'm like, I am not gonna even say anything right now about like how she's pushing my buttons. And yeah, I could just tell, like, I need to just give this space, like just to really hold this space. What I call almost a feeling. I think that wisdom can be felt because we feel urges like to react with anger, to react to something. It's a feeling. So if it can be felt, then at the same time as it's being kind of, you know, stirred up, that it's almost like, oh, I can feel this kind of defilement of anger, you know, obscuring. And then we learn that we actually have a choice. I could really run with that anger right now. It almost makes sense to run with it. So this other way, and it's just an experiment. Like, well, what if I don't run with it? So let's maybe just keep that in mind when we're practicing this instruction, this teaching around like the heart mind. So in like the kind of Buddhist philosophy is that instead of saying we have a mind, we have a heart, they say that it's one. We have a heart mind. It's similar to, I've used this expression, like we often say things like, well, here's what I think. Well, I think this. And I've been turning that into, because I don't think we just think, that we think feel. We have this experience of I think feel. And if we rephrase it that way, it's a little bit more describing like what's really going on. Or here's what I think feel. So this idea that the heart mind is radiant and pure has this very natural state of being grounded and here. These defilements are strong, they come in, we create stories like worry. But when we shine the light, when we have like, oh, this could be an enlightened moment. I see what's going on. I'm stirring up worry. So let's go ahead and practice. Practice just being here So arranging yourself just how you're comfortable. You might take a couple deeper breaths. So the initial settling. And this is really going to be very unique to how you feel, what's happening. But to play with this idea of relaxing, the kind of settling and grounding, feeling of being here. Maybe your feet or your seat grounding. Feel the earth. This is what it feels like to stop. But there's also an alertness. An uprightness. I'm really interested in this practice of being with things just as they are. Right now, not needing anything to be different than it is. So letting go of wanting. This can feel good to put down the wanting. So you might notice just like how you're feeling today. Is it through this balance of being relaxed? Obviously, we could be too relaxed. So we bring in that interest. Notice what is a distraction today? And how even whatever distraction is coming in, like, okay, I see you, you're illuminated, I see that you're there. I'm just going to put you down for now. And this is a wise thing to do to get some perspective. You might bring awareness to your breath as you notice that you're breathing. So you might bring in that image of a sky, this vast space. And as you're breathing, you're just feeling air. It is kind of an image of radiant and pure, open, the mind can have this state of very few words. The whole body just feel this relaxed quality. I'm practicing relaxing, but alert, clear. If it helps, you could get really specific, I'm aware of my lips. I'm aware of my throat. I'm practicing letting go of tension. And there's probably still a little effort of creating space inside. In a way, can even feel like a healthy state. Now this doesn't mean that you're of perfect health right now, but there's how you're relating feels like it's a healthy, healing environment. Free of any hostility or anger. Free of any judgment. Just for now. So one thing we might learn is just how swift the mind is, and any of these defilements come in. They usually come in quite quickly. So we can remember that, just as swiftly they can vaporize. When a worry comes in and you see it for what it is, oh, I created a story, and you can quickly, even instantly, just let it go. That's a story. I'm right here. I'm breathing, I'm feeling. This is how it is right now. Can I attend to this present experience? Knowing that everyone will benefit. I do the best as I can to be free of tension. Thanks so much, friends, for being here. And yeah, it's good to remember, or you probably will naturally do this, but just that kind of observing even for the rest of the day, like how doing this 45 minutes, like what are these, like the goodies in a way, the benefits that come from doing this work. And yeah, just kind of observing, because we're here and we're asking ourselves to pretty much do nothing. And so the mind could question this, like, does this really matter? So we have to, in our own very authentic way, learn about like why we would do this work. Yeah, and it can have a different effect on everyone. So